better than all the rest. And I want anyone I've ever met. Shot to the dome. Hey everyone, it's boner time. It was like the first comment I see today. Usually it's like hey, how you doing? Nice to see you. Welcome to the show, Dean, James, Lachlan, Bonzi. No, Dubinator he just starts off the whole show with a comment. It's boner time.
How did he know?
It's a great question. I don't know how he got a bit of boner time. Yeah, do you really?
Yeah. I just came from a marriage counselor, so I have a semi.
Oh,
still, yeah. After the 45-minute car ride home.
How was it? How was it? A lot of fun?
I don't remember any word she said, to be honest with you.
Who's the she? Is she the wife or is she the counselor?
Well, both. But no, I'm just joking. No, it was productive, I guess.
Yeah.
It always
learn
leads.
Anything?
No,
probably not.
Not really.
Yeah.
But,
Are you?
It always leads to like two or 3 days of peacefulness.
Well, because everybody gets stuff out. But let me ask you something about this marriage counseling. Because I myself, strangely enough, as a man about town, someone who enjoys the single life, you would think that I would have shined marriage counseling. But I've been to several of these things. And every time I went to one, I left going like this. So I was right.
That's probably just how you read it.
No, I'm serious.
No, you know
every time I left one of these marriage counseling things, I would look at my significant other and she would go, "You paid her, so she just agrees with you." And I'm like, "That's not how this works. You picked her. Of course I paid."
Oh my God. Are you trying to prove to me that I don't need to go to fucking counseling?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't need marriage counseling because you know what happens is both people are like, I was totally vindicated. No. And then the other person's like, I'm really mad because she took your side for the last 60 minutes.
That helps me.
Am I close?
That helps me a lot because it's the same thing. The first marriage counselor we ever went to was like, I don't know, years ago. And, it's going great. And she actually said out loud, you know, guys, it's actually well known that women cause 70% of the fights in marriages. And I was just like, well, I mean,
is that a stat? Is that a real stat that women cause?
It's actually 75. And the reason is,
are you getting that kind of truth at counseling?
Yeah.
Honestly, I already know my life. It doesn't work out that way. I would go and both of them would fucking turn on me.
Well, you would probably be in the wrong in your relationship, right? But you know,
okay, what makes you think that you're the one? Like, okay, we have people that have been watching this pod now for a good long time. They've got a good, strong sense of the characters involved. Okay. Yeah. All right. And I would be willing to bet if we did a fucking poll that people would think that you're probably more at fault in your relationship on a weekly basis than old Locker.
Well, that's because I'm more honest than you on the podcast.
Help me out.
That's all.
You're more honest than me
on the podcast. Yes, I think I am.
Well, I think he's up there. I don't know if he's more honest than you, but I would put your accountability at the same peak. I would put Bonzi even higher than you guys because just before we got on the show, he told us he's developed an anal fistula, which he tasked me not to bring up.
Can we
You put the fist in anal fistula, don't you, Bonzi?
And after he told me he had an anal fistula, he also informed me which he's informed all of us that he has 3 testicles, that he was a swinger. I mean, that's honest. You guys kind of dabble in honesty.
No, that's just more
Bonzi
What are you
disclosure.
honest
talking
as it
about?
That's
fucking
just more
I
gets.
am-
disclosure. That's all that
I
is.
am brutally honest. I can't
Yeah, you
believe
are.
you guys are turning on me.
I'm
Yes,
not
you
turning
can
on you.
believe
I
that
think
we
you're
are,
honest
and
too.
you're lying
Can't always
again.
be the
Like you get an A in honesty.
can't always be the
James
top
gets-
dog, Locke.
James gets an A in honesty. Bonzi gets an A fucking plus and one of those little stickers with like a star that says you're a star. That's
Hold
what
on,
he gets.
I better
You're
be
all
getting
honest.
a fucking
First
A.
time
I'm
ever.
at
You got an
least
A. I
equal
told
to-
you you
okay,
got an
but
A.
now who's a bigger dick as a husband?
Me.
I gotta call my mom and tell her
No,
I got an A
it's-
plus for the first time ever.
No, the biggest dick in a relationship, guaranteed it's James. He's insufferable. Yes.
Thank you.
But
You are
know what?
totally
I will
insufferable.
agree with you, but not because of the reason that you think. The reason is because I
You're weird.
fight back against injustices where most people are like sitcom husbands, like Lachlan over there, who doesn't fight back. Yes, you're okay. Well, whatever. Right. So that's why I'm a bigger dick in a relationship.
That's not true because
listen.
last week, before we got on the podcast,
Careful.
let me just share this with you.
Careful.
Lachlan Cross jumps on the show and he's like, the fucking dog pulled down the fucking Christmas decorations. And I told my wife, don't put them up because the dog's just going to fucking eat them. And he went for 20 minutes before we started the podcast. And you know what I did while I was listening to him? Laughed my dick off because I don't have the same problem
Yeah.
in my house.
Yeah, you and me
But he
both.
wasn't
did.
saying that to his wife,
Awesome.
though. He was saying that
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah, Bonzi, you remember that, right?
Okay,
You were
no,
here for that.
Yeah, I was
I
here.
fully admit
Yeah.
I am a raging pussy
Over a
when
wreath.
it comes to over. But the thing is, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint.
What,
James.
marriage?
Yes, it's for the long
He's
haul.
not even
So,
married, Locke. They're not
yeah.
even legally
I never
married.
had.
So
I
he
never
went
had
to
the
a
party
marriage.
where you exchange
Yeah.
trinkets. I just did
I'm
everything
a-
else.
I
That's
should have
what I
known that guy doesn't even have a driver's license. He's in his 40s.
right.
Of course, he didn't go to the fucking town hall and get a marriage license.
Why would I do that? Doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't need to. You can get the same result by just inseminating a
That's
woman.
right. Unproven.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, fascinating that you just went to marriage counseling. I'm really glad to have you here. It's like you seem refreshed.
Okay, at what point though do you like what is it fixing? Like no, asking for a friend. Like, is this
Nothing.
fucking having any impact on your
Zero.
relationship with your wife?
Well, it has, like I said, there's like a 2 or 3 day of peacefulness, so that wouldn't be there without the counseling.
Now, does she, after the counseling, does she say the same thing to you that my ex used to say to me, which is like, she just agreed with you the whole time. It's not
No.
really counseling. No.
No, there's
Does
some
she get- does
accountability. There's some accountability there, right?
Well, that's
Like,
that's a fucking door you want to kick open if she's being accountable. You want to
yeah.
ride that for
with a
as long as
vice
you can.
and
Yes.
several lasers to keep it open.
Absolutely.
Right?
Okay,
Yeah.
well then maybe this will work because it does sound like she's actually trying.
Yeah.
She's going through the motions of trying for sure. So
Wow.
I don't know. You can't climb into another person's head. How am I supposed to do that?
Anyway,
I was told
good
not
to-
to
You're
think for her.
married to the woman. You might
You
have a
haven't been
sense of
divorced.
whether or not she's being like, if this is accountability or if she's faking it. No,
No, but
you
you
don't
know
have
what a
any
lot
sense?
like, and we'll move off this after this. But like, you know what a lot of it is that I was the guy you think I was, but at the first half of our relationship, and there is a lot of going back to that as a reason for why to behave badly now on her.
Oh,
You know what
so
I mean?
she's kept a scorecard.
Yeah, like you know how women make the best archaeologists because they keep digging
all
up the past, right?
Yeah.
It's one of those.
You know what? I had
I
one marriage counselor tell me this. He was like, "Women are stamp collectors, men are idiots," and I'm like, "That's not psychology. That makes no sense to me."
That doesn't make
And he's like, "No, women like to collect bad experiences and then put them in a little satchel,
Yeah.
and when that satchel starts to overflow, they just fucking dump it all over the place." Guys are like this. It's too much work talking to you tonight. I'm just going to go into the basement. And what happens there is,
Okay,
it
enough-
creates
Alcoholism.
division. Apparently, it creates division.
enough
'Cause
of
you're in the
mimicking
basement.
Locke's life.
That's my life.
It's true. Women are the hoarders of
Yeah.
mistakes, and men just want women to put the whore in hoarders.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, we
No.
just want people to leave us alone. Like that's. I'll tell you, this is the truth. Because I had this conversation with someone the other day, and they're like, "Why aren't you dating?" I'm like, "Listen, here's a very, very
You
serious
guys are making
answer.
me very anxious.
This is a
right
very
now.
serious answer. Why aren't you dating, Dean? Here's the answer, fella. The reason why I'm not dating is because I don't, at any point in my time, for the, I don't know, 18 hours, 16 to 18 hours that I'm awake, do I want someone telling me what problem they had at work that day? I don't want to hear it. I also don't want someone to come home and tell me that their car didn't start and I should have known that her car wouldn't start. I don't want that. What else? Here's another thing I don't want. Someone coming in going, can you help me with the groceries? I don't want that. Because I'm busy. I don't want someone interrupting my life all the time with stuff that doesn't matter. 95% of the things in relationships are inessential.
We related?
Yeah,
at some point during birth, were we separated?
This all sounds really cheesy, but all I see when I see two people together that have been married for a long time, or I talk to you, or I see Locke, or I see other people that are married and together, and all I see is like, oh, at some point, he's going to have to get off the couch in an overtime hockey game and go and do something for his wife, and he's going to miss it. I can't even fucking fathom that right now.
We have the pause button now. It's fine.
That's the truth. I couldn't even imagine it. So when I hear you guys talk about marriage counseling, I'm like,
I love this comment.
That is the funniest comment I've ever seen. He proves it didn't
counseling
work.
worked for me. Now I have all 5 kids.
Yeah. Okay. It worked in the sense that I wanted to be crazy.
So you're right, eh? You're right, eh, honey?
Life.
Guess what? You get to keep the kids. Fuck off.
Yeah,
and she packed up the Winnebago. She packed up the Winnebago and went to Vegas.
Most guys too, when they get separated from their wives,
she's now a dealer.
They feature in their heads. They're like, oh yeah, couple of days a week, couple of weeks in the summer, I get my time to myself. That guy got fucked. Yeah. He's like, oh yeah, we're getting divorced. You're taking the kids. He's like this. This was supposed to work the other way. That was supposed to work the other way.
Wait, you get
what you get for being right, Darren. Let's guess Darren's wife's name, the one that just went to Vegas to become a dealer.
Karen.
Candy.
Oh, and she's not just dealer. At night, she goes out and makes real money.
She's a prostitute?
I hope Darren's not a new viewer to the podcast, because we may have just lost him.
Oh shit! I thought you were talking about Darren from the podcast.
No, Darren and Lindsay. Darren and Lindsay.
We're talking
Her name's Lindsay.
The comments we're putting on the screen, James.
Oh, that guy that thinks that it worked for him, even though he has 5 children. Yeah, maybe he's an alcoholic, like a severe alcoholic.
Aren't we all? Anyway, nice to see you guys. Good to burn 12 minutes complaining about relationships. It was funny because it didn't take me long to upset the ladies. Christy, who listens all the time, she's like, don't group us all together. I'm like,
yes, dear.
No, hold on. I will stick up for Christy. Christy is, I think she's a unique individual. Mm-hmm. We've had her on the show, on the locker room. She has been a part of podcast comments, numerous. Her name is seriously Karen. Oh my God, Dean, you guessed it. You guessed Darren's name. Karen.
That's awesome.
I think we got to quit.
She's Karen.
We all need to go.
Podcast is over.
I'm glad you guys tuned in.
I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket.
That's like the 25-foot putt on hole 3.
It really
What
is.
about the alcohol?
I go right to the clubhouse.
I want to know if he's an alcoholic.
I'll see you guys at the end of the round.
I'm going to be drunk when you're done. Yeah, I'm so good at this. Glad to have everybody here. James D. Fiore, Blackball here. He goes with the sandwich. He's got blackballmedia.ca. Blackball the podcast. Fuck, I love this game. James D. Fiore on Twitter at Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton. He joins us as well again. You can also get him at Lachlan Cross on Twitter. My friend Bonzi Live on Twitter, or Tripping with Bonzi's, where you can find his podcast. If you watched his last one on Friday, he was shittered, like fucking wasted. It was awesome because he quit drinking like 2 months before that. Yeah, it was fucking incredible.
How's that quit drinking going, Bonzi?
Hey, listen, be careful. Be careful. He's a little sensitive right now.
Let's talk.
Are you on the day 3 of a dry out or what?
Yeah, how you feeling?
Yes. Yeah, I feel a lot better than I did on Monday.
Saturday. Yeah.
Well, every day was the worst day. I woke up and I was like, why did I fucking drink that moonshine again? I said I wasn't going to do it anymore. It's enough. Fuck. Trying to get up early, be responsible still, read some scripts, and you're like, 7:30, eh? Moonshine says, fuck off. I'm going back to bed. And that lasted. So Sunday sucked. Monday sucked. Yesterday was so-so, and then today I feel a lot better. We're still not at 100%. There's still some diarrhea happening. It's just a lot of moonshine when you and a lot of non-healthy food as well. So a lot of grease.
I love you, man, so much. I love you so much. So you did American Thanksgiving in Arizona at an RV park. So
The 3-day diarrhea hangover.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much is. I've been pounding the electrolytes in the water, but we're still not there. In fact,
when you're still pissing through your asshole
72 hours.
Isn't it hard to piss in your asshole when you have a fist in your anus or whatever it is that you did?
Are you spraying? Are you spraying the toilet? Like you must be it must be a sprinkler down there with the fistula.
What's going on with that fist?
The fistula, it's like putting your thumb on the end of a garden hose. It just kind of fucking flies all over the place.
Yeah,
it's a lot of pressure.
Not to gross everybody out, but when I squeeze it, I can literally cup my hand and fill it with the juice or the blood that comes flying out of there.
Yeah.
Pussy stuff.
You need to get
it's pretty gross right now.
He's coming back. By the way, just so you know, Bonzi, what he's referring to, because we always jump in the middle of the conversation instead of starting the beginning. American Thanksgiving, blew his brains out over the weekend with moonshine and booze and food and RV trips and fucking almost dying on dune buggies and Arctic, but fucking just was wasted the whole weekend. He now has been hungover for 3 straight days, and he has extreme diarrhea that's just starting to clear up. But in the process, he's discovered he has an anal fistula on his taint. And he milked it he milked it last night and got at least 200 cc's. So that's what we're talking about here, just to bring everybody up to speed. What is an anal fistula? Great question. An anal fistula either appears on the inside or the outside of the actual rectum in the actual bung piece. That's not science. That's just Dean. But here's the thing. It's either an ingrown hair or maybe he was sitting too long. Effectively, it's a pressure sore that then becomes a massive zit. And it's either a hemorrhoid and they can appear on the ring of your anus. They can appear on the taint, gooch, that whole area.
And you touched this with your hands until liquid came out in your palms, Bonzi?
That's right.
So you squeeze it like this. Like I can grab it with like 2 or 3 fingers.
I can't believe that you're single. I am fucking shocked.
Dude, it's the size of a Barbie head. He squeezes it. And
then it shrinks for a bit.
Yeah.
And then it grows back the next day.
So the point is this: is that Bonzi
needs to come visit you.
Totally. Bonzi has major medical issues now. So he's at the tail end of his fucking midlife crisis trip. Hey, well, he's vaccinated. He's at the tail end of his fucking midlife crisis trip. He's just getting over a hangover he swore he'd never have again. He's got to have his 3 testes looked at, and he now in the undercarriage area has what appears to be a growth, right? That's leaking fluid.
Oh, I had an ingrown hair.
Sounds like it was a good time.
Did you see Bonzi answer that?
Only when I squeeze it.
Yeah.
That's why you pretty much summed it up. But
does it hurt? Does it hurt to sit?
No, it doesn't. It just hurts when I squeeze it.
Don't fucking squeeze it.
But it's just fucking full of shit. I want to get it all out and stuff.
Is that like a
Then I jump in the shower and clean it up.
Just go get it lanced. All you got to do is you head to a walking clinic. Say, hey, listen, bend over, have a look. Yeah.
Have you got a
only in diarrhea apparently?
No tub, no Epsom salt baths. For
can you
Bonzi.
get like a bucket? Hey, at the house I got a. That's great.
Well, I'm gonna
sitting in
salt
my
bath
tub
it up
with
at your house.
Anal fistule.
Here's the thing. He's coming to your house next, by the way, and he's sleeping in your bed.
We have a room for
I'm going to
him.
do the tour like the 3 little bears.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sleep in his bed, leak in that thing. Sleep in the guest bed, leak in that thing. You have a new couch he can sit on?
I had a put a towel down, please. I had a ingrown hair in my undercarriage. And this was a couple of years ago. And it was not right on the taint, but just off. You know where the crease is between your ass and your leg? And
the seam.
Right.
Called the leg pit.
Yeah.
And anyway, I had one there, and I could not get. You know how you gotta get the hair out, right? If you got an ingrown hair, you gotta yank the bastard out of there. And I couldn't get it. Like I had. And this is not something I asked. It's not something my wife was willing to help me with. And it's not something I
so
want to go to the
smart.
clinic.
Did you
It's
tell
not
her to peer into the holy of holies and pull out this one little hair that was bugging you?
I have
You asked her?
a really angry mole on my back right now, and I tried to get her to cut it off the other night with toenail clippers. She won't touch it. And then Jimmy said no, my best friend in the world.
Dude,
fucking little prick.
Really? That's
not,
like
these
eye
are
height
not
for him,
things for
too.
these are not things for friends and wives to do at work or at home. They're for fucking doctors to take off. You can't take toenail
Have you
clippers
tried
to a
to
mole
see
in
a
your back.
doctor? Welcome to
Yes.
Canada and COVID.
Oh my god!
So
it's
anyway,
not that
I
bad.
ended up actually having some success, and I finally drank 4 or 5 beer really quick, sat down in the basement, and I dug out the hair. Like I finally got tweezers on it, and I yanked it, and it felt like it came from the depths of hell.
It
The
did.
hair
How big was it?
was coarse. Oh, I should have
yeah.
kept it.
Yeah, they're
It
the
was-
size of cables.
It was about this long. It was
it's
about
fucked.
an inch long. And at the point where I was at with the infection and everything like that, I couldn't see the hair, but I managed to get a piece of it. It had a big, huge white head on it. And when I yanked that out, there was just this total release. And felt like I was in
It was
heaven.
over. Yeah,
You got to get rid of that stuff. You got to what they'll do to your fissure or whatever is sometimes
anal fistula.
fistula. What they'll do is
Best
they'll
name
take an elastic band and then they'll tie it like around it, and then it just dies and then it'll fall off.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you might
I've had that done a long time ago, but this is different, Locke. Dean and I were talking about it before the show, and I think what he said is exactly what's going to take place. They'll get all up in the stirrups, and they'll slice her open, rip it out, and then you like, what'd you say, Dean? You pack it with gauze.
Pack it
or whatever,
with gauze. Yeah, I had a friend that did that where he's like, same thing. They fill it with gauze, and the most disconcerting thing was like when you go home, how much gauze you pull out of yourself, where you're like, all that gauze got in there. That is so weird that there's so much gauze in my body for a long period of time. And apparently it doesn't smell great either because of the area. So, but having said all that, I'm really glad that we could have a men's health thing about anal fistulas and ingrown taint hairs.
You got to go see
on this
somebody
program.
about that.
Yeah.
I mean, an ingrown
He's
hair.
fine.
He has
It's
hydrocele. My
fine.
prediction is that his third testicle is actually hydrocele. So you should go to the doctor for that one for sure.
Yeah, there you go.
You
Glassy.
think- 'cause
Glassy
you had
says,
that, right?
Christ,
James?
I picked the perfect time to join
I
the
had
show late.
hydrocele. Yeah.
yeah. Did he ever? Oh, fuck.
They removed
Anyway,
this-
I'm just happy that you're coming home because that's the plan, right? Like you've been RVing throughout the states. You're in Arizona selling the bus today. Is that the plan, or tomorrow? Like today's the day where you're going to get rid of the bus? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, if all goes well. So I got up early this morning. The bus is absolutely spotless inside and out. I'm all packed. The drawers, every cupboard's empty. Everything looks like it did when I bought it. So I got my clubs packed. I got my suitcase packed. Got a backpack packed, and that's where I am right now. I'm in a bus wash parking lot, and we just had it washed and waxed, and it looks fantastic. After the show, we're going to see 2 people actually. I'm stopping in at a big time dealership down here, and they do a lot of consignment work. I'm going to see what number they'll offer me for the bus, and then I'll take it down to Kyle and see where we're at with him. He's the one that reached out to me and asked if the bus was for sale. I said yes, and so that's why I'm here. So hopefully we can. He's going to check it all over. This is what he does, and hopefully we can agree on a number today. If not, he'll keep the bus. He'll do the repair work on it, just the doors and the little spot that's about the size of a quarter on the other side of the bus where it got a little damage. He'll fix
Can I
that
just
up.
pause you here? We don't need the full inspection report of the whole
No,
bus.
no, please keep going. It's
Just
riveting.
wanted to know, like, are you selling it today?
that's
and
it,
what
though.
are your plans after today?
Hopefully.
That's what I was trying to get to, right?
So
How
what
much
do you do?
mileage
Today.
is on it? Let's watch the speedometer
I'll probably
together.
need.
Sorry.
It depends on how the conversation goes with Buddy today. But listen, if he buys it and it's cash in hand today or tomorrow, I'll probably out of here and head to LA to see my son. We've got Our Lady Peace tickets for their Hollywood show on the
Very
6th
nice.
or the 5th.
Yeah.
So stoked to see them there, and then off to Edmonton to Lachlan's house. Actually, I think
Is
we're
this
starting at Army
happening?
Chris's.
Is this
Yeah, right.
happening? Is he
We talked
staying? Is
last
he
night.
house sitting for you? Is that what's going
Yeah.
on?
So I'm going to Hungary
Wow. Yeah.
in for Christmas to see the daughter because she's dancing for a company in Budapest. She's a ballerina. She's on the contemporary side of things now, but still
I don't know what
same
that means.
thing. Anyway, we sort of planned to do this, and I overheard. And listen, all kidding aside, Bonzi is in the middle of a battle. No, I wouldn't call it a battle.
Transition.
He's in the middle of transition, and I think he's trying to figure out how to eliminate alcohol from his life. I overheard him talking about the fact that he might be staying with Army Chris, and you know what, Army Chris is a good friend of mine and a big drinker, and it's not the place to stay if you're trying to quit drinking. And so I offered up my place because it's going to be empty, and he'll actually be helping me out because then I got somebody in my place looking after it, right?
And someone who's
So-
proven over the last 6 months that he's totally responsible as
Yeah.
well, right?
You know what? Not one person on this pod would I say no to if
I
they
would
needed
not.
a place to stay, including you, James.
Nice.
I trust all of you. I've never physically met any of you because we all do this on Zoom, but I feel like I know you guys. I feel like you're my family. And Bonzi is you know what? As crazy as he is, and he's doing what he's doing. We're all jealous of it. But I'll tell you honestly, I swear to God, I have no problems with him staying. I'm going to give him keys to the car so we can get around, do the doctor stuff he needs
What
to
a
do,
fucking
and
nice guy.
yeah.
Right?
So
Right.
anyway,
What a crew this is, huh? Look at us.
So,
Look at
I'm
us.
looking forward to
one's
having him
met
stay here.
anybody. I met Bonzi, but he showed me a picture of it. I was like 15 years ago at a concert. Did I sign an autograph for you or just take a picture? Which
No,
one?
just
You want an
take-
autograph? I can send
Someone's
you a
asked you
series of them.
for your autograph before?
Oh, tons. Yeah, it's fucking
It's
weird.
weird.
It's
I
always
get
weird.
that.
I'm like,
It's
I
how
don't
about
mean
just
that
a
in a
picture?
bad
Just
way. I don't mean that in a
weird.
bad way. It's just I would never thought of a radio DJ as the person I'd ask for.
Oh fuck!
autographs,
It's so
you know?
weird, James. It's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
weird. When I was in Winnipeg, I don't know what it is. They put their radio people up on pedestals, but it was bizarre.
Well,
Like,
it was also 20 years ago when nobody else was like, you couldn't get information anywhere. So radio people were like big fucking stars back then, right? So
It's
But
also
it's-
because
it's not like
we
that
don't
anymore.
know. Most of us didn't know what your face looked like.
yeah,
Like I lived in
Yeah.
Toronto, I
Yeah.
listened to you, Dean, like, you know, and I didn't know what you look like. I'm sure there was ads that were around here and there, but I
No.
only remember wanting to, I wanted autographs from somebody when I was like 10 for like a week. And then I thought it was stupid, but like, it was like athletes. It was almost entirely athletes that I just wanted autographs from, but that's
Mhm.
weird. Never heard of that.
I've never
Yeah,
been that guy. I don't know what happened to me, but there's very little in life that I care enough about to ask somebody for a picture or an autograph. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
I'm talking bands, I'm talking movie stars, I'm talking television.
Even
personalities.
pictures. I'm like, I don't want to do
I
that.
know I've got a lot of guys in radio are they got to take the pictures with everybody that comes around, and
Yeah.
every time a story comes out about somebody that I've interviewed or whatnot, I'm always like, why didn't I get a picture? Because I'm just
Mhm.
not that guy, right? I just never
Kind of
have been.
douchey. It's a little like, look at me. Like, you know, when people die and then people post pictures of themselves with the person that's dead, that's about them, not the dead person. They want to be
it's
included
also
in
the
the
greasiest
storyline.
thing in the world, isn't it?
It
Where you
is.
can see someone-
But I've interviewed
as soon as
some pretty
someone
cool
dies,
people,
you're
right?
like, you know what? I met him 10 years ago. We had, and they all lie after someone dies too about how well they knew the dead person. Did you ever notice that?
Yeah.
I see it all the time. It's like someone will die, and like, and I won't say who, but recently a friend of mine died, and I was watching like everybody go, he was such a great guy, and I'm like, that person thought he was a cock. I don't know why they're writing this stuff on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then you know, like next Twitter, this guy was such a good guy. Really, I'm gonna miss him. I'm like, last time I talked to you about this guy, you said, "quote I want him dead." Well, now he's dead, so you're lying again. It's like everybody does that, and they embellish. Like I spent months talking to him. Maybe they had a 4-minute phone call once, but people do that. It's like the grandstanding on death all the time. It's
The
most
last time I
fucked
did
up
that
in the
was
world.
with
weird.
Rob Ford. Rob Ford died. And for some reason, I posted the picture of me and Rob Ford debating at the mayoral debate in 2010.
That's funny though.
Yeah,
it's
that's
funny,
different.
but I did, you know, and then
Yeah.
and then after I posted, I was like, why the fuck did I do that? That's a little. That's greasy. It's a little fucked up.
It was funny
you know?
too because like 5 days before Rob Ford died, he was shit tweeting me. He was like, "Fucking Blundell sucks." I hate that fucking. He was like,
No way.
"Fucking guy." And then I'm like,
From his
"Fuck
deathbed, he
you."
was tweeting fucking Dean.
He's tweeting me from his deathbed.
You
Fucking
bring out
Dean
the best in
Blundell's
people,
piece of
Diener.
shit.
That's all.
I hate that guy. He tried to fight me once. It's a long story, and I helped ruin his life. So whatever. But my point is this: he's shit tweeting me. 5 days later, he dies, and I'm like, I should put out one of those tweets like, "Gone too soon. I felt like we really knew each other that time he came to the
There was a
station and wanted to
connection
fight
between
me and all that stuff." Remember that? And it was funny because I was thinking about Rob Ford today because my favorite GIF of all time is a Rob Ford GIF. And it's from Hanukkah.
Why does this make me laugh?
It makes me like the look on Rob Ford's face.
And it's from
Ever.
Hanukkah. Dude's dead. R.I.P. Whatever.
I don't
I
even
could
know
give
what they're
two fucks.
doing. It just every time I see it, I just start crying laughing.
A rabbi is trying to administer some type of religious food in a ceremony to Rob Ford, and Rob is clearly either fucking wasted or super hungover. But one thing for sure is
Only
he
my accountant's
really
Jewish.
wanted to eat the fucking cookie.
He's like this.
He almost got her in there before something in his mind told him, I don't think I'm supposed to eat this.
Did I tell you about the time when I did?
Hang on, let me play it one more time.
Yeah,
Folks,
yeah.
if you're just listening to this on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc., go to Dean Blundell TV on Twitch or Blundell Show on YouTube, and you can see what we're watching, which is Rob Ford desperately trying not to eat a cracker.
Yeah, I don't know what I should do with this one. Am I supposed to eat it?
Hey, can I tell you?
Wait! I want to tell a
story?
quick Rob Ford story before we move on.
Okay,
because
James,
do your Rob Ford story.
just a quick. I have a bunch, but just one quick one. This just reminded me of that for some reason. When we were at the debate, he was really sweaty and he like arrived late and stuff. So we weren't
He
sure.
was
if he
always
gonna-
sweating.
I know. And we weren't
Always.
sure if he and John Tory was supposed to moderate it. Anyways, it was like, so he finally gets there, and a couple of the other debaters start arguing, and it was like Smitherman and Rocco Rossi, and I'm like, do
He's
they
so
always?
big,
I just
man.
wanted to see what he would say to me, so I whispered to him. I cover my mic, and I'm like, are they always like this? And he looks at me, and he's like loud enough for the whole audience to hear. He's like, yeah, that's why nothing ever gets done. Right? And I'm like, okay, Rocco Rossi's not even on council, but okay, right, whatever. And then I look over later on. I look because he had a sheet of paper with him and it was all wrinkled, like he had just picked it out of like a binder from high school or something. And I'm like sitting there, and like I don't know, half an hour goes by or something, and I look over, I just go like that, and he drew a house with like a chimney. I swear to God,
He's doodling.
I'm not kidding. Yeah, he was doodling
In a
And it was
debate.
Yeah, it was a house with
Wow.
a chimney. Oh, it's just like
you
I
know
almost
what?
love the guy.
We
miss
shit
those
on.
days,
We
James?
almost shit. We shit on these people, but then when they do go, and then things are really boring again, we kind of miss them, right?
Oh, dude, I've spent like literally 2 hours this morning watching this GIF of Rob Ford trying not to eat a religious cookie. He's dying to. So wasted. 2 hours straight I watched this. I'm like,
like the fireplace channel. Dean just has like the Ford gift channel. He just sits
If
there.
that was on its own channel, James, on Bell, I'd watch it all
The
the
ratings
time.
would be like, we have a very obscure rating going on in Markham.
Speaking of the Fords, yesterday we went on and on and on, and we talked about Ghislaine Maxwell. Like very few people talking about this trial of a financier's, centerpiece, and she's a madam. She helped, and we all know this. She helped Jeffrey Epstein, acquire and sexually assault hundreds of minors from around the world.
go-between.
She was the go-between. And you know what was really fascinating is that I hadn't seen anybody on this planet go, poor Ghislaine Maxwell. Sorry about Ghislaine Maxwell. That poor lady got railroaded until today. And you will never guess who it was.
Trump.
Krista Ford.
Oh no!
Oh wow!
The premier's daughter puts out this fucking Instagram post where she's showing support for Ghislaine Maxwell, who's on trial for sexually assaulting, trafficking hundreds of young girls.
No, she didn't.
She says, "Oh, dude, fuck." She puts up a sketch art of Ghislaine and her legal counsel and inserts in the post on IG, Krista.Haynes, which is her IG account. Maxwell, who holds American French British citizenship, has been reportedly denied bail while awaiting trial. Her lawyers have argued that she has been subjected to horrific conditions in the Metropolitan Detention Center, including sexual abuse by guards during daily pat-down searches. Then she cites the defense's opening statement and says, ever since Eve was accused of tempting Adam with the apple, women are blamed. Said by Ghislaine Maxwell are for things Jeffrey Epstein did, but she's not Jeffrey Epstein. She's not like Jeffrey Epstein, any other powerful men moguls, media giants who abuse women. This is the premier of Ontario's who has spent the last 2 months telling everybody that you can't get your kids vaccinated because it's abusive. Now she's putting out tweets. Remember the other day we were talking about Slapinski, like the people that put out shitty information all over the place and they're competing information. Now she's out a tweet. This is how mentally unwell, unhinged Krista is. Like mentally unwell. Is she rails against vaccines for kids because she thinks that they'll all die because she's dumb. She's an idiot, doesn't understand science, and it's a fucking lie. But the next day, she puts out a supportive tweet during the trial of the fucking century of human trafficking in a woman who's 100% guilty. And we're just waiting for who is involved. I mean, that's all we're waiting for.
Yeah.
But even though she's not through the trial and we don't have a guilty verdict, she's the only fucking human being on this planet who's supporting Ghislaine Maxwell other than her family.
It's really, really weird to see a Ford on the wrong side of an issue.
Wasn't it wild?
Is her dad going to muzzle her after that one, or is he going to let this continue?
I don't know. That's a great question.
That is absolutely bizarre. What is the motivation of this?
Can I ask you, James? I don't know. And maybe you guys can weigh in on it. Am I reading this wrong? This tweet that she put out, or this IG post about, is this not a supportive post of Ghislaine Maxwell that Krista Ford put out?
Well, what she put, first of all, that quote is from a story that came out months ago. That's not a new story because it came out like a couple weeks or a month or something after she got arrested. But you know how people just do that sometimes? Like, I'm actually surprised that Krista Ford did it. Not because she's not
an idiot,
stupid, but because usually it's lefties that do stuff like that. Like lefties would be like, she is innocent until proven guilty, but despite the charges, there's no excuse for a man to sexually assault a female prisoner. Like they would go on that kind of thing, but this doesn't even feel like that. So I'm a little confused by it. Like I'm surprised at where it came from, and I'm surprised, that even someone that stupid would say something like that because it doesn't.
Bonzi, what do you think?
I'm stunned. When you first said, "Oh, guess who?" I was on Lachlan's side. I thought it was Trump for sure. I don't know much about this girl. I've only known from what you've been writing about her and from this show and stuff. But
I thought it was Chris Tucker. Sorry, but go ahead, Bonzi.
I'm just saying it's a little much, and I'm surprised she got away with it, or it hasn't been pulled down from her dad saying, "Listen, you've said some pretty crazy stuff, but that's a little over the top, and it's got to stop."
Mm-hmm.
Because the negative.
Am I reading this wrong?
No, I don't.
You see the same thing?
I see the same thing. I don't see exactly how that could be construed any other way. I mean, again, like when we've had numerous conversations like this on the pod over the last little while, like why? Like what are you doing? Like what is it that is driving you? Because they're not doing things that normal. The Mark Slapsinski, the old Slapadinsky.
Slappy.
His reaction to being caught presenting misinformation is not typical of what somebody would do, right? Like, this Krista Ford stuff is baffling too because
it almost feels like she's trying to develop a brand by hijacking her dad's premiership and big stories and attaching herself to it to see if she can gain traffic because she's trying to build a brand. That would be the only logical thing I can think of, and I don't even think she's trying to do that because she's so stupid.
Bonzi, you're going to say
No,
something?
I was going to agree with James. I think that's exactly what she's doing. Maybe is just trying to get the utmost amount of attention she can right now by saying outrageous stuff and tweeting all this madness. Like nobody, you're not wrong, Dean. Not one person I've ever seen has said good things about Giselle or whatever you call her. And then
Ghislaine.
That's
Lane.
Can I just interject for 1 second? Because maybe she's going to launch her porn career, and her porn name is going to be Ghislaine.
Never know.
Right?
She is
actually
never
would be
going
a
to get out
very
of jail.
Good actress's name for
Yes, it would be.
for a porn. Yeah.
Be a leg up in the industry.
Old jizz.
Remember when Jeff Ross had Whitney Cummings on a comedy roast? And he's like, introducing Whitney Cummings. Her porn name is Whitney Cummings.
I just even as if she is trying to like endear herself to a certain group of people, anti-vaxxers, crazies, this is like next level fucked up me.
Yeah.
This is not.
What did she
this
say
is
again?
not
Can you
normal.
put it back on the thing? Because I remember what the story said.
Yeah, next level fucked up. But what she did was she used some stuff from some reports about Ghislaine having a hard time in jail, and then she used.
Can we believe
the
that?
defenses? No, you can't because she's full of shit.
She is living like a hamster right now, though.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. And maybe, hey, is it inhumane to have
it's
a woman
kept her
drink out of a
alive.
hamster water tube and shit in sawdust? Not her.
That sounds
It's
like a
totally
party
humane.
at Arizona, doesn't it?
It does. Sounds like American Thanksgiving. But no, it's seriously, like, this is not a normal fucking human being. And this is the premier's daughter. And it was fucking fascinating because I'm reading yesterday and there's this one clip that Doug, and we haven't talked about it yet and I don't have it with me, but there's this clip where Doug was like, I don't do anything against like what the medical examiner tells me to do because it's political suicide. So that's why he's not saying anything, because stepping out and saying, hey, Krista, shut up, is political suicide because she caters to the 10% of idiots that are still there, that are conservative voters that don't want to get fucking vaccinated. And I don't even like fucking talking about conservatives or liberals because it doesn't even fucking matter. What matters is the premier's daughter is legitimately insane.
We should have her on
like
the show
legitimately
immediately.
mentally unwell, where she's going, oh, Ghislaine was treated terribly. Good.
There is a personality trait, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's a technical term for it, but I've figured this out over the years because I've tried to figure out coworkers and things like that. And there's a small faction of the population that needs drama in their lives. They absolutely can't go a day without it. We work with somebody that's like this. And they get up in the morning and they're looking for something to be
looking
angry.
for a place to be. Yeah, like something to hold on to.
Yeah, they're
emotional.
looking for something to be upset about. And I've said this to when this individual goes off on us or looks like somebody shit in his cornflakes. I always say the same thing to Jimmy. Today he found it's not Jimmy, by the way. I said today he just found something to be mad about, and it was you. It was what we did. It was something I said. It didn't matter what it was. Somebody was going to get it. Somebody was going to get his wrath and his anger because he can't actually live in this world without being angry and pissed off about something.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a medical term for that. I mean, I think maybe there's a manic diagnosis in there. But I think that kind of negative energy sometimes is appealing to people. And I think Krista might be one of those. She gets up in the morning. She's just looking for something to be fucking angry about. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that might be what that is.
Yeah. Cause there's no excitement in everybody's life. Like that's like Hallmark. Like if you wanted to go through the list of anti-vaxxers, and if you wanted like people like Krista, other people in these Facebook groups like this one, which I believe the Facebook group was called Menstrual Issues Related to COVID Vaccines. I'm going to read you some of these. You want to talk victims? This is how fucking hard these idiots fight objective reality. And they lose all the time. Like, it's like, I've never seen a group of people who fucking love to be victims, love to lose as much as this group. Let me just put this out there for you so you can see it. This woman puts out a tweet. Her name's Hillary in the anti-vaxxers of Facebook group. That's what it's called. And I'll tell you who puts it out because these guys are absolutely phenomenal. It's called the Vaxxers Anti, AVK is the actual title. At Vaxxers Anti is where you can check these guys out. They're fucking phenomenal. All they do is purge these Facebook groups, gather the dumbest shit, and then show everybody how crazy these people are. But this woman, Hillary, she says, "Hi, everyone. I'm at a loss. We had Thanksgiving with mostly vaccinated family." By the way,
Wow.
heads up for the language thing, because what they do is they insert different words for vaccines and COVID, so they don't get so the algorithm doesn't catch them and they don't get the shit scrubbed from Facebook.
That's literally the most intelligent thing they've ever done.
I know, it's actually pretty smart. Vaccinated family. Then the night my husband and I were intimate, afterwards I was in tears, in a ball, tears streaming down my face in excruciating pain, which is, if I'm the husband, that's when I stand up and go,
King.
"Oh, yeah, you like that, huh?" Oh, you like that? Oh, babe, you got it. That's right. I'm the guy. The pain was in my reproductive organs area.
Jesus.
What?
I gave birth without pain management. The pain was comparable. We were both unvaccinated. I have no medical issues, and the only thing I can think of is the spike protein affecting me from other people. To which everybody replies, "This is Lizzie. Were they boosted? Felt like the timing of that rollout came right in time for the holidays." Now, again, let's introduce some jargon. When I got whacked from the vaccinated, meaning when she was exposed to some vaccinated people, I used ivermectin. It works well combined with rest. I also use fulvic acid as a regular thing to keep my health up. None of those are fucking ridiculous. Horse paste. Then Shelley's like, being around
Her profile
freshly
picture's a horse.
danced me. Listen, this is fucking unbelievable to me. Like,
She is on a horse. Oh my God.
she's saying,
That's so funny.
being around freshly danced, me and my daughter both got sick. Danced is vaccinated. That's what she's saying here. Now we avoid close contact with dancers, vaccinated people. And the first 2 times it happened, I was on the floor of the bathroom having flashbacks of my labor, which also unmedicated. Maybe it would have happened if you were regardless of sex. It's transmission and it's so fucked up. And then this person chimes in about having sex and how much it hurt. And then this person chimes in and starts talking about how much sex she had and how it hurt, and how the fact that it only hurt because the day before they were around vaccinated people.
Maybe
That's
they
truth.
just did Kegels really well after birth. Like maybe that's why it hurt. Like why?
Then there's this one, pain after exposure to vaccinated people. Then there's this one. This is another fucking This is the group of people asking on Facebook if it's okay to drink your own piss.
Doesn't that look like Randy Hillier, dude, from like 1958 or something? It totally does. It's Randy Hillier as like a 21-year-old.
Kinda. Faith wants to know in her Facebook group, "Hey guys, can anyone tell me where in the Bible it talks about urine, please?" And then Michael chimes in. He said, "Well, Jesus said you can drink from thine own cistern," which is drink your own piss in Bible terms, apparently. And then it's like an entire Facebook thread of how to drink your own urine.
Well, it looks like Bonzi's on it. Oh, there he is. Oh, no, he's not.
There he is. He's gone.
Godspeed.
This is real life.
I can't take this serious. Sorry, I'm gonna stop.
People are
talking
drinking
now,
their own
'cause
piss.
all I'm thinking is jokes, and I can't stop like
It's
spouting
just
out things and cutting
ridiculous.
people off. So you guys do the talking for this. I don't know what to say.
I don't know what to say, James. I don't know. There's no help. Like there's a faction of the population. There's a percentage that are so far gone that it's just best that we do what we can to ignore it and move on. Like take care of yourself, take care of your family. You know what? Don't get in fights with these people at Canadian Tire. It's not worth it. Avoid them on social media.
I know this
I
sounds
don't know.
ridiculous, but do you think that eventually one day there's going to be sentences that have nothing to do with victimizing someone else, but the sentence still is like, you need to stay off the internet? Like it's not doing you any good.
They
Mental
do
Like
that.
legally not
No,
being
they-
allowed to
I'm
be
not
on
talking
social
about
media.
people that have like child porn charges and stuff like that. I'm talking about just regular people with mental health issues, and their doctors like, you
They-
should be banned from the internet.
That's
Like,
happening. That
Really?
is happening. Yeah.
That is
I've
great
heard of
news.
people being told
Can it
they
happen
should
faster?
not. Well, and we have gone for I've used this example in our business in radio. I remember when these things started to get more traction, right? Like I've been around a long, long time, and there was a point where no one cared. Like Facebook was a thing, Twitter was a thing. Nobody in our buildings that worked, like our management, nobody cared that we were on Twitter or if we were on Facebook. It didn't matter. Then it became a thing. Like it was like, hold on, you're not on it? Why aren't you on it? I mean, it's a way to promote your show. And then there was this overwhelming pressure to get on social media, figure it out, and use it to promote the show so that everybody could increase their brand and the company could make more money. And now it's totally reversed. Oh, you're not on Facebook? Oh, that's so brave. You must be so much healthier mentally. It's completely flipped. All in how long?
3 years.
Like in the last
Twitter account. Good for you.
Good for you.
Way to go.
I'm so not there yet, but I've been really thinking about it. And I'm overhearing conversations like that all the time. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Well, if you get rid of Facebook, dude, you're never going to get involved in Facebook groups like this one, Australians for Better Technology, where Roger says he can play the Bluetooth game. You can spot who's fully vaccinated and who isn't when you invite friends or family. Let's say you get 6 vaccinated and 6 non-vaccinated. I love this shit. Leave all your mobile phones and internet gadgets outside. Take one mobile phone with Bluetooth into the room. Scan the empty room. There should be no internet signal. Then invite each person back one by one. See how many people are still connected to the internet without their mobile phones. Bluetooth can now spot who's fully waxed and who is not.
Fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
That's real.
Imagine
real
the science
humans believe
involved
it.
in that.
I love
See,
it.
Bluetooth has a new receptor, and that receptor can find organic material that also broadcasts a signal. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
like you can, is this real? Oh my God. Hey, hold on. Those
honestly,
sites that used to write down text, that used to post text between parents and kids, and the kids didn't know that they were like texting their parents like dick pics and stuff. It was most of those are fake. I'm just curious how many of these are also fake.
Probably a few.
Yeah.
I'd like to think none, just because it's way more entertaining to think that these are real people.
Anybody
but
that thinks that the vaccine is actually has something to do with 5G? Like,
that was at the beginning.
How crazy is that, though?
I still know those people. I am actually related to some of them.
Now, is it a distant relative or just
Not
a
really.
relative that lives a distance away from you?
The second one. The second one. We don't talk about it, which is crazy to me because like I've got family that are like super anti-vax and like take it. It's like
Every person
I'm like a
I
massive
talk to
vaccine
has a
asshole.
family member. Everybody, and it's either my fucking sister.
Well,
my
and
cousin.
that's
Everybody
the thing, right?
has
Like
one.
that's how I think about Doug Ford. Like I'm watching Krista Ford act like a tool, support Ghislaine Maxwell, talk about not getting vaccines, not vaccinating your kids, and all the other shit, and then we see all these other people drinking their own piss in these Facebook groups, and then I go back to my whole thing, and I'm like, but I have one of them in my family, and I don't like talking about it. So every time I bring up the Krista Ford shit, and I hammer it at Doug Ford, tagging him with his address and everything every single time, and I always make reference, this is the premier's daughter. I'm like, fuck, I'm doing the same thing I don't want people to do to me. How's that for honesty? Part of me feels bad, but I also know Doug Ford's a piece of shit, so I don't feel so bad.
I wonder if Krista Ford, when she finds out about exploding testicle syndrome, if she's going to be tweeting about that. We'll have to watch her account this week.
Probably.
Yeah,
probably.
That was an attempt at a segue.
I liked it. You guys, speaking of people that don't get it, did you see Evander Kane's back playing hockey again? You see this?
Oh, someone
Evander
called
Kane?
that on this podcast. Who was that?
Yeah. It was you.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd ever play again. We'll go around the room real quick here. I'm going to play this for you. This is his very first press conference. He's playing for the San Jose Barracuda, which is the AHL affiliate of the San Jose Sharks. That's where he's got to go do his reconditioning or his conditioning stint or whatever they call it. And they asked him about it. Remember why he was suspended? Everybody here, 21 games for handing in a fake vaccine passport to a professional sports franchise. And he thought it would work. Let me.
Wow.
I'm going to play his answer when someone asks, and I want you to listen to it. Then I want you guys to tell me whether or not you think no, not even that. I know he's a cock. Whether or not he gets it yet. Like, after the bankruptcy and the divorce and the abuse allegations and the other bankruptcies and all the. Let me ask you, when you read and the suspension and the loss of his career, Does he get it yet? Here it is.
It was reported that you had submitted a fake vaccine card to the National Hockey League. Can you say if that was accurate and what were some of the reasons maybe you did that?
Yeah, you'll have to refer to the NHL statement that they put out via the suspension. You know, I served my time, did my 21 games, and now I'm back. You know what? I'm fully vaccinated, and that's all I have to say about it.
So, think you learned anything?
I saw that
Lock.
video, so I already knew what he said and how he looked, and the whole time I watched that, I was just yelling at the TV this morning. What a cock! What a raging cock!
Just
Didn't
doesn't
learn
get it.
anything.
No,
Jimmy, James. think
Well,
you
I
learned
just
anything?
thought I saw a guy who's really bad at media training, who was told not to talk that much, and who was told to just keep it
that
short.
smirk, the
that's
look on his face, all of it. Just
You know what? That
cock.
to me, I interpreted that like this. Yeah, press is trying to get me to say shit. That's what I interpret.
Of
How I
course.
interpret it. I didn't. But I don't know. That's got to be the worst thing about being an athlete is the press. The questions are stupid. There's never any really good questions. A lot of guys hate it, and that guy's not too bright, and he hates it now, especially because of what's happened. I don't know. I think that maybe you're allowing your opinion of him to get the better of you. I just think that was an NHL player who didn't feel like talking to the press and was told to say a couple of things and keep it short. And that's all I saw.
Yeah,
Bonzi, what do you
he's a
think?
Cock.
Bonzarelli?
Yeah, it was pretty choppy for me, but just the look on his face, you could just tell. You just want to smack the
Hasn't
taste
looked-
right out of it.
hasn't.
And he's a douche. He doesn't get it. He never has. He never will. End of story. He's an idiot.
Well, and let me play it for you again. And I understand what James is saying, and he's partially right. Like, you can't teach, a dog to fly. I mean, this guy is not a smart individual, right? So let me.
It was reported that you had submitted a fake vaccine card to the National Hockey League. Can you say if that was accurate and what were some of the reasons maybe you did that?
Yeah, you'll have to refer to the NHL statement that they put out via the suspension. You know, I served my time, did my 21 games, and now I'm back.
Cock.
So, if I'm his general manager, I listen to that and I think, no.
Stay down.
And here's why. Because the correct answer for someone who's been rehabilitated to the point where he can rejoin his professional teammates is, I fucked up. I thought I could take a shortcut. I was afraid of getting the vaccine. Turns out there's no reason to be afraid of the vaccine. I'm fully vaccinated and in perfect health. And I would encourage everybody not to do what I did multiple times. That's the answer of a guy, to me, a guy that owns it, a guy that says, hey, listen, I need to own what I did. I need to own the reason for the suspension. And then when a reporter says, can you give us the reason why you decided to come up with a fake vaccine? And he's like, I'll just point to the NHL statement. That's not accountability. Still, it's not accountability.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I can't speak to the personal work that he's done or whether he's gone through counseling and shit like that. But to me, that's not a guy who gives two fucks still, which is amazing to me. Because
it is. It's unbelievable.
it was almost over, right?
He-
Like, he
honestly-
is almost out of the way.
He honestly thinks, and maybe he's right. I think he honestly believes that he's too good to not be in the league, to be considered, whether or not it's for a team or for another team or for the San Jose Sharks. He's
Okay, but-
clearly that arrogant that he thinks that he's going to continue to play.
So I honestly think I think you guys are wrong on this, and not because I'm trying to be a dick about it, but because he did release a statement back in like October, and I think that they just don't trust him talking to the media, and I think that the smirk is like he wanted to say some shit maybe, but he didn't. But I think that he's honestly like he's in a box right now, and he's like, don't expand on it. Refer to the statement that the NHLPA made on your behalf, and say you'd like to move on. And that's
Here's
it. Don't say anything else. I bet you he's been instructed not to say shit. That's what I
Here's
think.
why I think you're wrong, because the one thing about him doing this press conference that makes no sense is if he's just going to say that, don't do it.
I think there's conflicting policies though. I think that you have to make athletes available for the press, don't you?
Does he absolutely?
Yeah. So here's the deal. So he was asked when he was reinstated. When his suspension was over, he was immediately sent down to play with the AHL affiliate, the Barracuda, which is in the same city, so no big deal. And he's got to work his way back. That's what the Sharks organization has told him. They said, listen, you need to work your way back. You have to be able to show us that you actually give a shit. And it was fascinating because you remember prior to the season, they're asking the other players, are like, what's your relationship like with Evander Kane? They're like, fuck, I don't even talk to the guy, so whatever. I mean, we're just here to play hockey. He was asked about that. And again, he took the fucking low ride out, which
I think you're going to have a group of people for, call it, I mean, there was COVID last year, shortened season, 150 days, 160 days, get along perfectly. But I think there's been a big misconception of the entire team or multiple players. I think it's, it's funny, I had my end of the year meeting last year and it was nothing positive, and how great I was with the young guys and, how great of a season I had. But, apparently something happened in the summer that I was unaware of. So it was all new to me and news to me. So it was interesting.
You see that?
He's a
like,
cock.
I was unaware of any of this being bad. I didn't know this was bad. It's like the fucking George Costanza bit from Seinfeld where, like, it's come to my attention you had sex with your secretary on your desk at work.
Was that
and he's
not
like,
allowed?
Was that not
I
got to tell you, I don't know. I had no idea.
I still
What I would
don't
say.
I still don't understand. So he's help me out here because I'm
Wait,
not
hold
sports
on. When was that clip from?
That was from yesterday.
Yesterday.
That was from
Last clip?
yesterday afternoon. Yes.
Yeah.
Both
Both
clips
same
are
time.
from the same
Yep.
thing. He was up there for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Why is
Lying.
he being like, you don't have to do an interview?
No, he did. He was
Why
made
does he
available
have
to answer the
do
questions
an interview?
because he's a fucking prick. And
Maybe they wanted
like,
to bury
dude,
himself again too.
The entire, like, everybody that knows
But
anything
hold on.
about this guy wanted to know, where are you at with your gambling and the fucking crazy life situation where your wife outed you as gambling on games in the NHL
You're
last year?
$50 million
Where are you at
in
with
debt
that?
right now?
You're $50 million in debt. You got a couple years left on a deal that you'll see no money from. Where are you at with that? Where are you at with your friends that are on this team that have all individually said they really don't want anything to do with it? They just want to fucking play hockey. And where are you at with your fucking fake vaccine? Every time he was asked a question about, and this was big news, so they have to fucking address it, he was like, not that big of a deal. And I'm like, you fucking kidding? You're just suspended without pay for 21 fucking games.
I think
pretty
it's
big
smart.
deal.
I think we're looking at
His
this
whole-
like a journalist or like an audience that wants the tabloid stuff. But I think if you're him, I think he did the smart thing and not get
No
into
way.
the weeds about any of
No,
that.
James, he
Yeah.
came off like a
he
smug
did so
prick.
much damage. He's did
Right?
so
Bart
much
Bonzi?
more damage.
You don't think he
Bonzi,
would do a
he-
lot more damage if he tried to talk and sort of like improvise some answer that made him look like a real piece of shit? Like that, at least he's avoiding whatever. A PR person, I'm telling you, with his temperament and with his habits and with his pattern of behavior, a PR person would like, he did the right thing by being evasive. I think so.
Zero
Not with an attitude
questions
like
about
that.
whether or not that he's a piece of shit. If he was trying to not to disprove that or trying to get on everyone's good side or show that he has actually,
He didn't do it.
grown a little bit, he made it 10 times worse with that
I don't know. I'm
interview
not seeing
yesterday.
the same thing you guys are seeing, I guess. I don't know. I just see a guy that is not good at PR, not very sophisticated, but still evaded just like the PR person told him to. That's what I see.
That much we know. Yeah, and listen, you're partially correct. Like, you think in the old way of doing things, you go and stand in front of people and you give as little information as you can and you try to get out of there unscathed, right? That's traditionally what some of these things are. We don't live in that kind of fucking time anymore. Not when it comes to the allegations and the shit that we
He
know
should not have
did.
done that interview. I
No.
still maintain that. He's
I agree
done
with that,
way more
Lawson.
damage.
I agree with
And
that.
that- and
I don't
that's
think he
what
should
I'm
have had to do it. I think is what I would.
Well,
think.
that's why I'm asking. Like, how does that happen? Like, behind the scenes, maybe somebody knows that. Like, does the
You know
team
what I think?
say?
I think they put him out there on purpose, and they're like, "Fucking go, let him out there, let him
well,
fucking fail."
that was my
Let him bury
theory
him.
with Trump.
Yeah.
Like, he couldn't get away from the bad news. I know he was a dick, but everything every week was just like we kept saying on more than one occasion for a good 2 years, the last 2 years of Trump's presidency, somebody's doing it on purpose, and they're sitting back going, "Okay, look, he's gonna go talk again." And
If I'm $50 million
doing that to
in
Kane.
debt,
yes,
if
Bonzi.
I'm $50 million in debt, everybody hates me. I just got suspended for 21 games for being a goof. his demeanor still walking up there and just.
Bonzi,
God,
you're
he still thinks
so
he's
right.
the shit. I wouldn't
Oh
be
my
feeling
God.
like that if I was 50 mil in debt and my life was in turmoil.
You're
But
fucking
it was like
embarrassed.
he didn't care one iota.
No.
Not at all.
No, because
Like
he
most
is
people
a
would get up there and they would-
raging cock.
Most people get up there. To
Raging
Bonzi's point, he fucking nailed it. Way to go, Bonds. You're really coming around.
pal.
To Bonzi's point,
Awesome contribution today, buddy.
really great.
You're the greatest.
To Bonzi's point, if that's me or any one of us, we got our cap in our hands and we walk up to the microphone and we go, I was a mess for a long time. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry to my teammates. I'm sorry to the organization. I'm sorry for the distraction that my personal life has caused. I'm sorry I tried to fucking hand in a fake doctor's note to a professional NHL team. I'm sorry.
Right?
I didn't hear jack fuck. Nothing.
Nothing.
All I
None.
heard
None.
was, and
Zero.
so I was, I'm
Less
still
than
me.
zero. So much more damage.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Big
I
time.
disagree. I disagree. But that's okay.
I know.
I've hated that guy forever. I can't stand him. I wouldn't want him on my
we'll
team.
see if it did
I
more
don't care.
damage.
He could
though,
score
right?
108 goals this year, and I'd be like, yeah, leave him down there.
But we'll see if it
Yeah.
did more damage. I don't think it did. I don't think people are going to be like, wow, that guy had a smirk. Fucking
APOC
piece
is
of
so
shit.
far off, it's not even funny. He will not become the Colin Kaepernick of the NHL.
He wasn't going to play another game either, but there he is. So I think
Yeah.
he's going to be a
That
guy
is
that's
so
gonna
wrong.
surprise you.
We'll
I
see.
think you're going to
You're
go
more
like
wrong
this.
than James.
That guy looks like a big piece of shit, but he hasn't really said anything to make it. Like he didn't say anything that was wrong. He smirked. So.
Sometimes
Yeah, I know.
You don't
I
need
just
to actually say you're a cock. It doesn't need to actually come out of your.
you can see
We
it.
can just see it. It's
We can smell it.
oozing out
I
of
believe
him.
that's called bias.
Smells like cock.
Ah,
I mean,
I don't know about that. Bias.
when I listen to Evander Kane talk, I go like this. Smells like cock in here.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
yelling at the TV
Talking lies.
as soon as he started. We were listening
Yeah.
to this morning. Going, shut up! You're an idiot. You're an
Yeah.
idiot. Stop talking.
From something very, very, very questionable like Evander Kane to something that I'm embarrassed to tell you guys about. I should probably get some embarrassing music before we get started.
Oh, just play
Sorry,
something
hang
from
on.
me.
Yeah, I will.
Do
It's
you have
always
a
the same
massive
song.
hemorrhoid on your taint too?
No, just Bonzi. I had a meeting on Monday, and the guy that came over for the meeting, radio guy, long story, brings over a box of new Tim Biebs.
I almost bought them yesterday.
Now, I'm not going to talk about the coffee chain Tim Hortons. I'm just going to talk about these Tim Biebs. Because my friend brought over a pack of 20 assorted.
Yeah.
I've looked up the flavors because I didn't know which ones they were by the time I was finished the fucking whole box.
Which ones did you have?
Well, I'll tell you. 'Cause I
Okay.
just had to write them down. I had chocolate white fudge Tim Biebs,
That one sounds good.
sour cream chocolate chip Tim Biebs, and I also had
I need to try that one.
birthday cake waffle Tim Biebs.
Another,
three new flavors.
Another home run.
Now, here's
You want that sponsor so bad.
no, I don't. No, I don't.
I
I
would
think
love
the
it.
coffee's shit.
I would fuck
think the
that
coffee's
box up
shit.
so bad. You're not
So
even
would I.
like. it
I
wouldn't
wouldn't,
even be
dude. This is me holding it. I didn't know whether to eat it or stick my dick in it.
a- Why wouldn't
If
you
you
do
did,
both?
cock would actually smell pretty sweet then, wouldn't it?
Hey, come over here. What does my dick smell like? Waffles or
Tim
fudge?
Biebs.
Smells like Justin Bieber. Woo.
Tim Biebs.
Like he needs
So-
any more money though.
I fucking loved these things.
How much did you get paid for that?
Millions, like 20 million. And I think it's going to save Tim Hortons because like everybody's going, the Tim Biebs are pretty good. Like even people like me I wouldn't fucking, if someone said I'm going to Tim Hortons to get lunch and I was on my deathbed after a fucking, hunger strike. And someone said, I'm going to Tim's to get a bite to eat and a coffee. I'd be like, don't worry about it. But with these Tim Biebs,
I
I
was
was
at
like,
Tim's yesterday.
oh my fucking God, give
Yeah.
me more.
Okay.
And, and here's the thing, it's Justin Bieber. I was like, I felt like a fucking lunatic to the
played a
point where
part in the creation
I
of
go
the
back
flavors.
yesterday. I go back yesterday and I'm in the thing and I get another box of Tim Biebs.
Yes, you
I go, just
did.
fill it up. I got
You know
another
what?
box and
Here's
I brought it
what-
home. And no, it gets better. And I also bought a toque.
Okay, now you have a Tim's toque.
Nice.
Awesome. Okay, I got to tell you
Is this a
something.
tidbit?
I got to tell you something,
Embarrassing.
Dean, and I want
What?
this is going to make you feel better about yourself.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you. Yeah.
Yesterday, I was in the Tim Hortons drive-through. Okay, because I needed a coffee, and I wanted a little pick-me-up for the drive home. And I saw those Tim Biebs there, and the woman said, "Would you like anything else?" And I stared at that box, and it seemed like 4 or 5 minutes went by before I said no. And the reason I said no is because I had a feeling that somebody in my life would find out that I ordered those, and they would make fun of me.
Exactly.
And now I come on this podcast, and I have got support from you, Dean.
Huge.
Somebody
They're
that
fucking
I know
delicious.
would never even admit to going to Tim Hortons,
Never.
not only had Tim Biebs, but went back to get another box, now has a toque to wear on his head when he's out walking to show his pride for the fact that he went to Tim. You have just turned. I'm going to get off this goddamn pod, and I'm going to fucking Timmy's, and I'm getting me some Biebs for the afternoon.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you
I
are.
have to know, does the hat have Biebs on it at all, or
Yeah, it does. It does. It says
No
Tim
way.
Biebs on it.
Wow.
Yeah, I got
I'm
a hat.
shocked. I listened
Where
to you
is it?
bash him for
Go get it.
15 years.
It's in my car still. It's in the back of my car, which is downstairs
We'll wait.
in the garage. No, I'm not doing it. I can't. I'm embarrassed. I'm fucking way too embarrassed. I was embarrassed ordering them. And then when I got to the fucking window and she's like, "We have a limited time Tim Biebs toque," I'm like, throw it in. And then I lied. I'm like, it's for my child. I have adult children. I was lying. And then when she gave me the box of 5 billion Timbits, because I didn't just get the small box for a taster sample, I got, give me all of them. What's the biggest one you have? And equal them out. I want them all the same.
That's
and
funny.
And when she gave it to me, I'm like, who eats this? Fucking losers. Put it down next to me. I didn't even get out of the parking lot before I had my fucking hand in the box, and I'm just shoving them in my mouth. I'm like, ooh, cake waffle, ooh, chocolate. And I look like such a fucking pig. I was just sitting there just eating them, and I hadn't. And I'm not even in park. I'm in drive, waiting to leave the Tim Hortons, and I'm already eating these things because they were that good.
Dean, you are an inspiration for us all. You're a leader. That's what you are. You're a leader.
I don't know. Probably.
I'm just trying to think of other Canadian artists that could even pull that off. And what would
This guy.
What would the food be? Yeah,
This guy could.
I
Rob
want-
Ford could.
I
Rob
want-
Ford falafel. Look at him.
I want Katie Lang to do a constant icing. Constant icing cruller. The cruller.
I would eat that too. I would. I have to tell you, I know Tim Hortons is taking it in the mouth. I know their coffee's still shit. I know their food's garbage. Every
Have
time
the
that someone
dark
gives me
roast,
used to
I'm
give me a
telling you.
sandwich. No, I don't
Get
even like
the
that.
dark
I can't
roast.
do that either. No, I'm not getting the dark roast.
And that sandwich
But the
they
Tim
have out
Biebs
right
are
now,
it.
the egg and the beef.
Wait. Brian Adams Arby's. Right? A Brian Adams Arby burger? That would go
I
good,
am
wouldn't
pretty
it?
certain that vegan Brian Adams would not team up with old Arby's.
I happen to know a time that
Just guessing.
vegan Brian Adams ate a whole bunch of beef fat thinking that it wasn't beef fat because my friend, he came into the kitchen and my friend sabotaged his meal because he was like, I want to make sure that all the pans aren't pans that had beef in them or any type of meat. And they were like, what the fuck? And so they just poured a whole bunch of beef broth in his stir fry and like stirred it up.
No, they
and,
That's
didn't.
an asshole
and then
move.
gave it to him. And he came back
That
in the
is a
kitchen. He
dick
was like,
move.
thank you for taking sustainability seriously. And thank you for taking me seriously. And
And they just sat and watched him eat
problem.
beef.
You just
Fucking
sucked a whole cow down, boy.
right.
Anyway, I think we did some good work today.
Mhm.
We didn't take a big shit on anybody corporately, which is nice.
Also, fuck Tim Hortons though. Seriously, like they're
We were
coffee
nice.
is awful.
We were nice about Doug Ford's daughter.
Not
Jizzy Lane?
Supporting
Ghislaine!
I think we learned a lot about Bonzi today too. He's on the wagon again. He's feeling better. He's going to go get his undercarriage looked at when he comes back to Canada, which is great. They'll remove the anal fistula.
He's
You'll be
gonna
right
soak
back on
in my
track.
tub.
I gotta
Oh,
know
yeah.
who
I,
made that.
I got to tell you this. I swear to God, Bonzi, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. And I know your plans are still sort of up in the air, but we're about 90% that you're coming to Edmonton and about 90% that you're staying at Locker's abode while I'm away. I can't wait to meet you in person. I'm really looking forward to it.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
Likewise,
And,
Locke.
and when you come back
And
to
I will-
Ontario, you can stay here.
Yeah,
I will
wait,
do
you
what
can
I
come here
can.
first because I'm north, and then go down.
Killaloo. Go to
Yeah.
Killaloo.
Oh, dude, you'll love
Yeah,
it. Here.
I'll do the whole tour. I'm gonna stay at Locke's, then I'm gonna go stay at Dean's, and then I'm gonna go stay at James's house.
No, you stay at my house first because I'm on the way.
Tour de Bonzi.
You
I'm
might
on
have
the
to
way.
go
You got-
stay with Lindley to help him get in and out of bed, wipe his ass.
Oh, we're gonna do so many shrooms, and you're gonna be like, "Wow, you
We'll
were
do
totally
that too.
right." I'm not gonna freak out, and then I'm gonna be like, "We're not even."
You can only
here,
stay
man."
with me for like 48 hours max, though, because I've got like this rule where if like I'm with anybody for
You
more
know
than
what?
2 days straight, I'm like, yeah, you got to leave.
That's when we do the
Oh
show.
my
So-
God. I was
Yeah.
on the fucking phone last night with Bonzi, and we were talking about it because he was like, you know what? My plans are firming up a little bit. It looks like I might be able to make it. Da 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 da. And I said, no problem. We talked a little bit about him getting here early and seeing the house and the dog situation and all this, right? And then he says, yeah, and I might make my way back to Ontario in January. And Dean said I could stay with him. And then he goes, but I don't know if Dean's going to let me stay more than a couple of days. I swear to God, Bonzi said that last night.
It's
I think
not
the meter
you.
might run
It's
out
me.
after two days, he said.
It's me. I've got like this fucking like put up with shit meter that's literally 48 hours long, and as soon as it fucking hits like 48, I go nuts. Like everybody's got to get out of my hair. Everybody's got to get out of my way.
Oh my
And
God, that's
I was.
funny.
That's why I'm bad in relationships. I feel that way.
When I have a
specifically
house
about
guest-
marriage.
It's a buffer between me and my wife. Bullard came over for 2 days.
Probably great.
Never got along better with my wife.
That's right, because you all fake it. You pretend like you like each other
No,
while
it's
people
because
are around.
Bullard becomes the buffer,
I never
where
do
it's just
that.
like we're not. Yeah, we're not faking. We're actually. I happen to believe that when we're mean, when we're at our meanest, is when we're really faking. I think
Maybe. All I know is that I've got a 48-hour
Counseling
limit
seems to
on.
be working for you,
Yeah.
James.
Seems like you're doing great.
my shrink's really hot, so it wouldn't have mattered if it
Sure
wasn't for
is.
the bad relationship guy. So I don't know what the fuck you got.
Congratulations.
Oh my God! If you bang
Um,
your therapist, will you tell us about it on the
legend.
pod?
Yeah,
Please.
obviously,
Before we, of course he will.
that's what I do.
He's way more honest than you, Locke.
That's bullshit.
That's not bullshit.
Honestly, I was
Can I-
offended by that at the beginning of this
Okay,
pod,
all
where
right,
you guys
you're
were trying to tell me that I am less
A,
honest.
you're
than James.
honest.
I'm
It's
offended.
just
I'm offended
Bonzi's
right
A
now
plus.
because you seem to be saying that like, less honest than James. What the fuck? Like what the? You know what I mean?
No, there was
I'm
some sort
transparent.
of comparison,
secret.
which I can completely understand why you're upset by the suggestion that you're less. I was just you guys made it sound like I'm constantly lying and that James is some beacon of fucking.
Yeah,
No one said that.
all right.
No. All
Let's
I said
roll
was
back
you
the
and
tape.
James. You and James are both A honest. You get A's for
I had
honesty.
to force
Bonzi
that
gets
out
A
of you
plus.
guys, though.
But no. But I think it's
I get
because
an A plus
your
too. I
bits-
just told you I like Tim Biebs. For fuck's sake.
Sometimes your bits, Lachlan, are not based in honesty. That's all. Like you know what I mean? Like sometimes, like you're
Like
like,
what?
James has the
still
diet of
got
a
an A, little
6-year-old
buddy.
and stuff like that, which is totally fine that you
Okay,
say that.
so
and think
hold
that,
on.
but your bits-
Hyperbolic.
if you don't
Hold
include your
on.
bits,
I
then maybe
very
you-
rarely exaggerate, if ever.
You're such a fucking
Right?
That is
Can't even say it
unbelievable.
with a straight face.
Yeah. He's got a fucking plaque on his wall from his grandfather, and it's a credo that he lives by. It's like never let the truth get in the way of a fucking good story. So
right.
don't do that to us.
Thank
We
you.
know you, dude. We know you.
Thank you, Gordon.
But I love you.
Before I go, someone tweeted, someone had a comment here. It's Dunbar who started off the show with saying it's boner time. Remember that? It's like I miss Jimmy. Well, guess what? You don't have to miss Jimmy because we got a little Jimmy right here.
Is it coming? Is this it?
This is it.
This
James.
is it.
Thank you to James for this idea, because
Oh,
this
don't
would
thank
not this would not have happened without James DiFiore. And
Well,
I'm
don't
not even
worry about
This-
that, but I want to see it.
This is legitimately James DiFiore's genesis of an idea. Locke
Yeah.
took it and ran with it. He's the host of a place called The Locker Room, which is a morning show at 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton, and he works with a little fella named Jimmy. And because Edmonton is the centerpiece of crazy, because that's where Chris Sky is, and he's going to attack West Edmonton Mall, but prior to getting there, he'll probably
Saturday.
get murdered by the Gurmezian brothers, which is fine.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, no, I doubt he makes it to the parking lot. These guys are such badasses. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But my point is this, is that Jimmy and Locke put together this piece on James's advice, and it's brilliant. It's legitimately about the dangers of the vaccine and the side effects. Ladies and gentlemen, little
My
Jimmy.
name is James P. White from the locker room, and this is my story. Listen, I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but I just want the government to stop using me as a guinea pig. Not only that, a friend of mine who I went to community college with in Lethbridge in the 80s, the wife's father's friend, balls exploded when they got the vaccine. He tried to warn people on Facebook, and he has since been blocked. The only way you can find the story is on DuckDuckGo or Bing. Personally, I've stopped using Google because they're hiding the truth from us. We have to get the information out about exploding testicle syndrome. A couple of weeks ago, I went to my favorite bar, East Coast Erection. It was karaoke night. All I wanted to do was sing my frustrations away. I even showed them my mask exemption card that my friend Sam Steele made for me, and nothing. What's happening to my country? So basically, I was forced to get the jab. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a rough couple of weeks. But the great news is my nuts haven't exploded yet. But the bad news is I lost 2 feet. Before the pandemic poke, I could dunk a basketball. I could use a urinal. I could go to the buffet. I could even get on a bar stool without help. I just want answers. Look at me. You, Bill Gates.
Time now for the disclaimer. James P. White is not an anti-vaxxer. James P. White has been fully vaccinated, and he has always been this size. It had nothing to do with the vaccine. We are also well aware of the fact that there are many people that would like to take the vaccine but cannot for legitimate medical reasons. Be safe, everyone.
The Locker Room.
Brought to you by Always Plumbing and Heating.
Weekday mornings on 95.7 Cruise FM.
Brought to you by Always Plumbing and Heating.
You know what, Dean? You laugh harder at our sponsor than anything.
Yeah, because it was the perfect
That was awesome.
belly slap. It was so great.
Oh,
well done.
Well done.
Way to take a
Good
good
on you,
idea
Jimmy, too.
and make it fucking amazing. My idea was not as
Did
good
you
as that.
did
That
you
was
like
awesome.
the oxygen thing was hooked up to a can of Lucky? It's the little touches, right?
It's the little things like
That's
the way
up
his
on our-
A couple of weeks ago, I went to my favorite bar, East Coast Erection. It was karaoke night.
Why does that come out of nowhere so loud?
because he gets close to the microphone.
We don't have a lot of good mics. I mean, we're doing this with 3
I thought it was a
cell phones.
karaoke joke because
No, that was. You know what that was? There was lots of little.
At the tube attached to the.
You know what that was? That was an ode to that guy in St. Albert that flipped out and started crying about not being allowed at his karaoke bar here in town. So we had to get a little jab in there. Yeah,
That was Pat
you know what?
King. Remember that guy?
Priceless.
That was Pat King. He's from Edmonton, right? The anti-vaxxer dude.
Yes. By the
Couldn't go
way,
to
this is
karaoke,
the
by the
first
way.
time anybody has seen this other than like a D. I think I DM'd it to you guys last night, just so you guys could have a look at it.
Oh,
But nobody has seen it. We didn't even release this today. We haven't even done anything with it yet. Yeah.
Oh my God! Thank you.
Yeah.
It legitimately. I watched it last night and I almost pumped it out, and then I reread your tweet and it's like, "Don't share this." I'm like, "Fuck, it's too bad."
Well, we hadn't
Somebody-
cleared it with the boss yet. Like, I wanted to make sure he was okay with it because we
Is
may
the disclaimer
get
at the
some
end your
complaints.
boss's contribution? Just put a disclaimer at the
no,
end. even if it's funny.
I put that at the end because I wanted to soften the blow of anybody that listened to that. And because, dude, we live in crazy times. People might actually be offended by that.
I
like-
lost 2 feet. Is
It
the
was
greatest
karaoke
line
night.
in history. I lost 2 feet since getting the jab or whatever. Can you play one more time before we go out?
The
Can we
pandemic.
say goodbye now?
But the great news is my nuts haven't exploded yet. But the bad news is I lost 2 feet. Before the pandemic poke, I could dunk a basketball.
This is the best part too, is where he's going on and on about all the things that he used to be able to do. Starts with dunking a basketball, which not everybody can do, and then he gets into like stuff like getting on a chair.
I could use a urinal. I could go to the buffet. I could even get on a bar stool.
Actually, the buffet makes him so mad. Whenever we used to take him to the buffet all the time, and he'd get so pissed off at us. We'd pick a spot to go eat,
'Cause
and
he
it'd be a
couldn't reach
buffet because he can't get any of the food. And he goes, "You guys fucking picked this place on purpose." So I had to put the buffet thing in there because now he gets so mad because I got to go around and get his food for him. and he hates that. He doesn't like to ask for help ever.
bet.
He's a very proud guy, right?
Go to the buffet. I could even get on a bar stool without help.
I guess there's no sitting at the bar with Jimmy, is there?
Well, when you go to the bar and you get the
Gets a
high
booster?
tables, he gets mad.
You ever
Does he
pick
get
him
a
up
booster?
like Princess Leia picked
Oh,
up
I
that
was just gonna
Ewok
ask,
and
you have
put
to,
him
like-
in
He's not light. Like he weighs more than my wife. So it takes two. You got to get
watch
on
this.
either side of him and hoof him.
Army Chris is like, he's at my house drinking my beer, watching this. LOL.
I did. I dropped him off at Army Chris's because he's getting ready
Wow.
for his podcast. Army
Yeah, he's
Chris
got the
is helping
Jedi Jimmy
produce
podcast, right?
his Jedi Jimmy podcast, and they're
excited.
working on a teaser that should be out in the next week or so. He's
Jimmy, I
going
know
to
you're
be
a Sith.
doing a weekly breakdown of the Boba Fett Disney Plus series, that 8-part or 10-part series that's coming out. So he's a huge. I've never met anyone who knows more and loves Star Wars more than Jimmy, and so I'm actually looking forward to it. And Army Chris is got him pimped out. He's got he actually didn't like the green screen he had and reordered a better one so that he can put like Star Wars imagery behind him when he's talking. And yeah, it's going to be very cool. And that's actually going to be on the Dean Blundell podcast network if Dina will allow it.
Yes, it is.
And also, Jimmy, well done. If you're still watching this, if you haven't stopped
Great
playing
fucking
anger,
job.
Yeah, that was cool, Jimmy.
He really
Way
did a
to
good
go.
fucking job. That was amazing.
Oh, you know what? I was really worried about because Jimmy has trouble. He legitimately has dyslexia. So whenever we do shit like this, it's always a lot of work, and I don't
You know what
have
I
a lot
noticed?
of patience. So
I know
we
that.
get into fights, and we'll be screaming at each other. So it's always a battle. But he
You know what I
nailed
noticed
it.
about Jimmy? Not only did he nail it, but what I just noticed is that he's got an earring.
Oh yeah, because he's a fucking killer.
Haven't exploded yet. But the bad news is, I lost 2 feet. Before the pandemic poke, I could dunk a basketball.
Unreal.
I can't
Unreal.
wait for that to be taken out of context by Krista Ford and put on her Instagram. Look at what it did to this guy. Anyway,
You
boys,
should see me
listen,
beat myself up with dyslexia when I try to read my scripts all day. It's a fucking.
I got a bit of
nightmare,
it too.
dude. Holy,
Are you got
it's
it bad?
mine's getting worse and worse. It never used to be this bad. So.
No way.
But I'll literally
Worse and worse getting mine is.
fucking smarten up.
Nobody was dyslexic.
You know
Right?
what, Jimmy? I've learned with Jimmy is when I send him a script, and we do stuff like this all the time, or I'll write something and he's doing, because he's our show. If I'm being honest, he's the fucking locker room. He's the star. I'll send him something and he's gotta I gotta let him put it up and write it his way. And he's got a way of putting it on a screen so that he can read it. If I just print something off, we're fucked. There's no way.
Do you
it's
know how
happening.
much smarter dyslexic people are than regular people that aren't dyslexic?
Jimmy
Because-
is
and it's
not smart.
it's a true
I don't feel it.
Not in those ways. But I know you don't feel it, Bonzi, and I know it's like using you.
A lot
and
of
Jimmy as an
anomalies on the
example
panel,
of how
Dean,
much
if you don't
smarter
mind me
you guys
saying
are.
so.
It's probably a terrible thing to do. But I will say this: is that you guys, because you're dyslexic, have to find a different way to get to where everybody else goes, and so you take all these weird brain shortcuts that are so much harder than if you just were able to, read a 9 instead of a 6.
Yeah.
That's just the truth.
Tell me
I
about
mean,
it.
it's fucking amazing. So good for you, good for Jimmy, and good
We
for
do
you,
this.
Locke, for
We do this
convincing your
little
boss
thing
this is
where
a good
Jimmy
idea.
gives me phone numbers to call because he's on the text service, and then he gives me the wrong number, and then I yell at him, and then Grant just sits there and goes,
There we go.
and then I go, someday I'm gonna kill you, and it's gonna be over a fucking phone number. You're gonna die right here in the control room. Why? Because you can't read a fucking phone number. And then
think
he's
what
like,
you're
"Fuck
doing is
you, old
describing-
man." And then
Is this on the air?
None of it's on the air. It's just
Because
all-
what you're describing is office place abuse.
No, I
yeah,
was just going to say, you know,
it
it'd be a
is.
funny bit. Can I give you another idea? Right? I'll give you another idea. Because of that video, Jimmy should file a human rights complaint against you to see how far it can
Oh,
go.
dude, I'm gonna do it for them. I'm gonna complain. How about this? The CRTC has my name embossed on the wall.
I'm
How
sure
about
they'll
I
take
send
anything from you
Oh,
seriously.
fuck yeah. They hate my guts.
They don't even think you're human.
The CBSC and the CRTC fucking hate me. So what if I do this? I lodge a complaint with the CRTC about this. See how it goes.
See, let me know if that works.
I'll do the human rights complaint. You do the CRTC, and we'll meet back in the middle at the locker room on 95.7.
All right, boys. That's it for us. I got to roll. But Bonzi, listen, you take care of yourself. Hopefully, we'll have you back in the country in the next week or two. That's the plan. He's going out to whatchamacallit. What do you call that again?
Edmund Chuck.
Edmund Chuck.
Yeah.
All right.
We should give me a call if I need to pick you up at the airport, or well, I'll send somebody to get you. Okay.
Yeah.
You bet.
Great to see Bonzi. Great to see Locke. Great to see James.
Thanks for having me.
You can find all of us, dude. Always, we love you. You're incredible. I just hope that
Stay
you
safe,
get all your
Bonzi.
medical. Yeah.
Stay safe.
Thanks.
Squeeze the pus.
It's
out of
we're
the
almost
fistula when
we're
you
almost
get back.
done. I
Milk.
I'm not going to
the
say I made it
fistula.
yet because that's jinxing it. But
You're almost back.
listen,
You
you guys
almost did
thought
it.
I was going to die in Texas. Then you thought I was going to die in Arizona, and I am still in Arizona technically, but I'm coming home, boys. I'm coming
Also,
home.
you're going back to California where Reggie and his wife live. So just be fucking
I
careful.
like how the metrics of success have become, guys, I didn't die, so fuck you, I win.
Yep.
If you get shot
You
at
were
but don't
all
die,
wrong.
you're a legend, my friend.
Anyway, Bonzi Live is where you can find him on Twitter at Tripping with Bonzi on YouTube as well. Do you have a podcast tonight, or is that Friday? Oh, no, you're not going to be doing one for a while.
Yeah, no, I'm going to try and still pull one off tonight. Listen, it's going to be touch and go. I got Glassy on stuff. We'll talk about the floods again out there. They've got even more rain, even more crazy shit's happened.
It's still going.
He's been really on it and keeping up. Like, he's right in the thick of things. So we'll talk about that. I might even have Locke on. I was going to text him after the show, see if he can come on and talk about me coming to stay at his house.
I'm gonna try to stay up a bit late tonight because there's a hockey game, so you might catch me. I'll jump on for a couple of minutes. I'll be drunk. Warning.
Who are the Oilers? Fucking incredible.
Pittsburgh. It should be a good
tonight.
game because whenever Crosby comes to town, for some reason he loves playing the Oilers. And then of course we've got Draisaitl and McDavid, and I mean it should be a good game. And I think Pittsburgh's a little annoyed from the game they had the other night in Calgary where they lost in the shootout to the Flames. So they're going to be and
I tell you
Crosby's
something?
been rolling. He's just been picking up steam since he returned.
Can I just make a quick assertion here? We don't talk about hockey enough, but now that the Oilers and the Flames are top of the heap and they're fucking looking so
gonna be
good,
fun.
and Draisaitl and McDonald, and the Leafs are fucking killing it. I mean, it finally got some goaltending. Jack Campbell is the entire fucking deal here.
He's the shit.
I'm really excited for Canadian hockey again, especially to see those two Alberta
Habs.
teams be so fucking good and see the Habs suck. and
Oh
see
my
the
God, it's
Canucks
so
suck. It's
fun
like
to
the
watch
only
the
three
Habs.
teams I gave a fuck about are in it, right?
Yeah.
Like the Oilers, the Flames, and the Leafs. So I'm like a happy Canadian hockey guy this year.
There was a moment at the beginning of the season where the Flames are rolling, the Oilers are rolling, and I was like, why do the Flames have to be so good this year, right?
Yeah.
Edmonton's are doing so well. You know what? We're still being overly cautious here in Edmonton because Oiler fans have been hurt many, many times over the years. But why but now I'm like, you know what? This is good for hockey. Guess who has the worst TV schedule in the NHL this year? Edmonton.
Oilers.
Edmonton. It makes no sense. The fucking league has its head up its ass.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you got the two best players, and we knew they had the two best players in the league at the beginning of the season when you're making up the schedule. Like, you got to put this team on TV. Like, literally, it's the worst. I think it's the worst TV schedule for the Canadian
But
teams.
you know what? I have seen more Oiler games in primetime out east than I've seen in years past, and it's because of McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's because they're the two best players in the league. They're on the same fucking team. They're buried in the middle of a fucking Western Canada where it's like minus 45, and y'all to get nothing nice ever. And if you do get something nice, it leaves. Right? So it's like. It's fucking. I think that everybody's kind of coming around. Specifically, the NHL is coming around, and broadcasters are starting to come around. But the problem that you have is there's 1.2 million people there, and there's like 6 million people here, right? So it's like it's just a numbers game, which is too bad. But I sat and watched that game the other night. Not the fuck the game that I watched.
Vegas game. Saturday.
The Vegas game. Oh.
And it wasn't even a great game for the Oilers.
No,
I mean, it was
wasn't.
it was an exciting game, but
it looked
they
like they
hung
could just
on.
step on that gear anytime they
Yeah.
wanted. But they
Well,
just hung on. They battled. They're a different team this year, dude. Like, I don't know if it's Hyman that's given Draisaitl and
Hyman's
and
a huge
fucking
part of it. CC is a
McDavid
huge
the
part
gifts
of it.
and the freedom, but man, oh man. They
You know
look
what?
good.
Listen, I'll tell you this. And again, we're trying not to get too overly excited about the Edmonton Oilers because, again, it could all go to shit. But I will say this, and even my wife said it. My wife is a casual hockey fan, and she's been watching the games with me this year because it's exciting hockey. And she's like, they're playing different this year. And I'm like, they are. They're playing. It's different. They have an intensity. They've taken a couple of periods off. Usually a first period they'll take off here and there, but they are playing at a pace and an energy level that they haven't played at for quite some time. We're in trouble, though. We've got major issues with the D-line right now. We got
Nurse is hurt.
Keith is out. Nurse is out. CC is out. That's a COVID protocol thing. So hopefully that was a false negative. But I mean, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel in this organization for D. So we're gonna have lots of heavy games. Skinner,
You guys got
he's
the
a
Leafs
local
coming up
kid.
soon, right? Are you playing the Leafs soon? I think in
We
Edmonton, right?
do- There's always a Leafs December game. You know how the schedule.
Yeah, and I'm
kinda-
going to it.
Are you? Good for you, man. Yeah.
So
That'll
when
be
I'm
a
coming to
fun
your
game.
house, a buddy
That'll be a-
messaged me. He heard
It's
on the show.
insane when you go to games in town here.
December 14th.
Yeah. When you go to games in town, and there's another Canadian team in, you will be shocked at the numbers. Leaf fans come out in droves. Hab fans come out in droves when they're in town. So it's
Maybe
always
I'll
a
try
fun
and
night.
sneak out there for it. Maybe I'll try and sneak out there for the fort. You won't be there,
should,
will you?
dude.
Maybe I'll go with Bonzi. Yeah, I'll
Go
come
with
and stay at
Bonzi.
your
You guys
house.
can both stay at the house.
Take a dump in your bed, leave it there, kind of mush it into
My
the-
buddy who I lived in Nicaragua with him and played baseball. He lives in Edmonton when he's not up in the oil fields and stuff. And he
Fort
just
Mac.
happens he's going to be there. So he's pretty stoked that I'm coming and we're going to go.
Yeah.
Well, listen, dude, you're going to have a great time. Glad you're staying with Locke. I got a split, guys. That is Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton, at Lachlan Cross on Twitter. Thanks, buddy. Great to see you. That is Bonzi. Make your way home. We'll see you. We love you.
See you, Daner.
Appreciate
Take
you,
care.
brother.
Love you too.
We'll look for your podcast tonight. Tripping with Bonzi on YouTube. There you go. That's it for us, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Or what's the rest of it? Vancouver plays Ottawa, too. Yeah. There we go. Anyway, have a great day. Thanks to our friends and sponsors over at easyautofinancial.ca. Easyautofinancial.ca. It's where you go and get cars and financing for cars. People like to try to charge you for them, or like when you go and deal with a dealer, they like to bury the financing charges in the actual payment of the car, and you end up fucking paying 5 times for something you should only pay once for. Easy Auto Financial does it once. They take the hit, pass it on to the dealer because it's all your leverage, and they know that. And so what they do is they make sure they get you financing and the best deal on a car. Doesn't cost you a dime, no obligation, super easy to use, Canadian company, easyautofinancial.ca. Also, hello to our friends at Ed's Fine Imports. He's got Gitch wearing them now, as a matter of fact. You know why I love these? They haven't lost their elastic. I got a pair for like 3 years. Seriously, when I first got them, it was like proto pair, and I'm like, they're still just as tight and awesome and incredible with a pouch in the front as every other pair of underwear that you buy like two days later. They're awesome. Best Gitch you'll ever buy. They're called Gitch. Promo code 3, Gitch3. Let's try that again. Promo code Gitch3. That is your promo code. Go to edsfineimports.com and enter that promo code. Ed will send you a free pair of underwear while you're doing your online shopping because he's got a massive online store, clothing for men and boys at edsfineimports.com. And domination.com, dmntn.com. Try them out today. It's AI for people that love software, love to produce content, whether it's streaming, gaming, etc. Producing promos has never been easier. You can make like 70 of them in 5 minutes with domination.com. Try them for free today, dmntn.com. Thanks all. Appreciate you. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.